Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with another episode of the Snowflake Watch, where we look and react to certain clips online, either from the UK or from the world. Mainly, we've been looking at Gaza quite a bit, and we're going to be looking at a bit more today here. The date and time of this live stream is the 10th of July 2024 at 8 p.m. UK time. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv, twitch.tv/Reganelite1. Hello to everyone who is here live. The gang is here behind me. Albeit a little bit blocked. The lava lamp has been formed. For those who aren't aware, who didn't watch the Snowflake Corner, the lava lamp has returned to its form once again. Returned to its former glory. It is magnificent indeed. So very, very happy about that. I was expecting most people to be watching the football, but I'm assuming that some people will be having it in the background while they're watching this. So if you are doing dual watching, I much appreciate it. So let's see who we got here in the chat before we crack right on. Dave McGuinness, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Jow is here moderating. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. I'm looking forward to watching Euphoria in England turn to dismay as Labour failed to deliver, as Great Britain is in a declining state. It will time excuse me, time will obviously tell on that. Artibus, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Solari the cat there, good to see you. One Angry Pagan, good to see you there as well. Effective football. Oh my god, all of a sudden a cough. I haven't done any recording today, guys. I've had family traveling to come and visit me today, so I haven't done any recording today. So my voice should be all right, but I guess it's not. Anyway, right, enough about my problems. Let's talk about the problems that is facing the Conservatives. They are really not looking very good right now. I mean, it's quite problematic, shall we say? Excuse me, to say the least. Here, I mean, Suella Braverman. She had a bit of an interview here with GB News, but this is not just normal GB News. This is GB News America. Basically, she was put under pressure here, asked by Steve Everson, asking about her failures as failure and her record, and obviously she knows she's under. She knows her chances of her holding on to power are slowly slipping away, if they're not already evaporated, after her disgusting and outrageous comments she made at the Conservative Convention in America. I did do a video on that. It's probably going to drop tomorrow if it hasn't dropped today, but obviously members have seen it already. But let's have a listen to see what she tries to defend herself, shall we, in this. But obviously she's going to have a bit of favourability because of who it is. Good to see you, Billy Kershaw. Hope you're doing well.
Major failures, if you don't mind me saying, is immigration.
Just let me know about the volume level, guys, as well, if it's too high, too low, and whatnot.
And that's on legal migration and illegal migration. When you were Home Secretary, you presided over record levels. Almost 750,000 people net came to Britain during your period as Home Secretary. Would you like to apologise for the British people for this betrayal?
Well, I've already apologised. First thing I said when I was re-elected on Thursday night was, I'm sorry, because my party has let you down. I meant that to the British people. So I think that, when I went into the Home Office in 2022, I was agitated, I was alarmed, and I was very, very concerned about the record number of visas which had just been issued in July 2022. We'd hit the 1 million mark of work and study visas. That's not what I voted for when I voted to leave the European Union. It's not what the British people voted for in 2019 when they chose us in that landslide.
Yes. This is all well and good, Suella, but as like you said, you was the Home Secretary. The responsibility fell on your shoulders. And it's just like here, it just feels like it's trying to, rather than take her individual responsibilities of her reign as the Home Secretary, she's just trying to portray it as everyone, we all, as in the whole party, as in case not me, it was the party that let you down, not me.
Election, and things were going in the wrong direction. I went in, I got an assurance from Rishi Sunak that he would work with me to lower illegal migration and cut
Here we go. Blame Rishi.
the number of visas by raising the salary threshold, imposing a cap on the number of visas, restricting the number of students, a whole host of things. I went in with a full and comprehensive program. Unfortunately, I was blocked. Now,
Oh, here we go. There we go. I was blocked. It was not my fault. The Prime Minister stopped me from doing my job. It was Sunak. It was all his fault.
for your viewers and for those of people who've not been in government, let me explain the reality of being in government. You could be the best minister. You could be the most charismatic, cleverest person in the room with the best idea. Goodness, I just wanted to deliver a manifesto commitment to lower overall migration. But if the Prime Minister doesn't agree with you, if no one around the cabinet table agrees with you, you're not getting anywhere. And that is the reality that I came up against. Now,
this is it. Blame everyone else. You know, it's a collective responsibility. Everyone has to take their fair share of ownership and responsibility. And rather than own up to her failures and her mistakes as Home Secretary, here she is saying, I was all right. Everything was I had everything under control. The problem was no one wanted to agree with me. Nobody wanted to back me. Nobody wanted to input my ideas and my things that would have made a difference. It's all everybody else's fault. It's because of everyone else that I, as Home Secretary, couldn't do my job.
You know, could I have tried hard? I struggled privately for 12 months, biting my lip, supporting the Prime Minister, trying to persuade from the inside. He didn't agree with me. And it was an irreconcilable difference that was unsustainable. And that's why I had to leave government. That was one of the many disagreements I had with him. That's why I left government. And then when I come out of government, I've been very open, very frank, to my own detriment, about the failures. So yes, everyone says, Suella, why didn't you do anything about it? You were Home Secretary. That's to totally misunderstand how government works.
No, you have a role and responsibility. You have powers in that role. You do have powers in that role to do things. Yeah, you are the Home Secretary, one of the highest offices in that cabinet. To say you cannot seriously expect people to say, oh, it's because of everyone else that Suella Braverman couldn't do her job. That's not how it works. Everyone in every department needs to take their fair share of ownership and responsibility. You can throw as much of your crap on Rishi Sunak as much as you want, but you still had a job. You still had a job to do, and you keep blaming everyone else for your problems. And I suppose if you became Conservative leader, if you somehow by some miracle became the Prime Minister, you would probably blame the EU, or you blame France, you would blame someone else for the high levels of migration. That's probably what you would do. Good to see you, Satu. Hope you're doing well.
A minister cannot act unilaterally. You need collective agreement. You need the cabinet to support it, and importantly, you need the Prime Minister support it to support.
You're right. Yeah, you need collective responsibility. That's why, he should have never reappointed you back in as Home Secretary. You should never have been allowed back in that position. It was a mistake to have appointed her once again as Home Secretary, especially after what she did beforehand. It was ridiculous.
If you don't get those things, you can't do anything. And I'm afraid that is the obstacle that I was coming up against.
But you could have done more. When you were Home Secretary, your most senior civil servant in the department, Matthew Rycroft, I've done a lot of reporting on him. He is, I think, one of the wokest civil servants again. He was a race, faith and belief champion. He wrote Home Office plans on race. He said in 2021, infamously, that civil servants should be, quote, stewards and ignore ministers' instructions when it comes to DEI policies. Why didn't you sack this man?
I'm afraid I refer you to my previous answer. Listen, I had these discussions. One of the first things on my list of things to do when I was home.
Here we go. Here's a narrative that is being painted here by the journalist and by Suella Braverman here. Yeah, it was the civil servants. The civil servants are the reason. So it was the government, it was the civil servant, it was the Prime Minister, it was people around me that was stopping me from doing my job. It's not my fault. It's always someone else's fault.
Secretary was to change the permanent secretary. I knew that you need a very good working relationship with your permanent secretary if you're a senior minister to get things done. And I knew that I wasn't going to see eye to eye. Unfortunately, you need the Prime Minister's blessing. You can't do it by yourself. and I didn't get it. So that was one of the reasons. But let me just also illustrate another point. And the point I'm making here is I'm not going to blame Matthew Rycroft. I'm not going to blame the civil servants. That's what a weak minister does.
That's exactly what you were doing just in this interview. You've just been blaming everyone else, literally just now, for why things aren't getting done.
At the end of the day, I was a minister, I was working with a prime minister. I didn't have the political support. This is on the politicians. This is on my party.
Yeah, but you... Why can't you take ownership and responsibility for your failings? You can't take ownership and responsibility for her failings. Absolutely outrageous, guys. So obviously, I just want to say, I have no idea why on earth is Times Radio doing an interview with Jonathan Gullis. So before I get to Jonathan Gullis, for some reason, who's talking, obviously, if you haven't seen the comments, you haven't seen the clip, I tried to find a video clip on Twitter of Suella Braverman and some of the rhetoric that she gave at that popcorn conference that she gave, conservatism, conference that she gave, in the vile things that she said. But after that, obviously, what's quite shocking is just how many conservatives have really turned on her. Yes, it's not good.
I am abundantly clear that I do not think Suella Braverman is the right person. I think Suella's rhetoric at times can be overly explosive, overly divisive, is not what the country wants to hear in all cases, because I think it is too aggressive. And whilst there are some things that I would agree with her on in terms of taking on the civil service, which I do think at times has not been helpful or supportive towards a Conservative government, taking on the...
I'm just about to say before I cough there. Let me be clear about this, yeah? You guys are the ones who damaged the relationship between yourselves and civil servants. Jesus, I'm having a bad night here with my voice. You guys are the ones who broke the relationship between yourselves and civil servants. Civil servants have lost trust in government ministers. And they are trying to, and at the moment, the Labour government, this new Labour government, is obviously trying to make amends with the civil servant because of how much, you guys have blamed all your problems on everyone else except taking ownership and responsibility for your own actions. Civil servants are there to do a job, and they carry out your duties, as long as it's not law breaking. But you guys consistently have thrown some of your problems on civil servants, saying that it's their fault on everything. Are there some bad apples in the civil servants? Of course there are. Are there some who aren't always following the rules? Of course there are. But the vast majority are there to do a job. And to blame them on all your problems, again, it's just folly.
Quangos that are essentially using millions of pounds of taxpayers' money but not having the level of transparency or accountability they should do. But I certainly do not think Suella Braverman is the appropriate choice to reunite the Conservative Party. And I will simply now wait to see who is willing and brave enough, to be perfectly frank, is a big task ahead of them, to throw their hat in the ring. And we'll wait, like all members, to see who we get to choose between.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Jonathan Gullis sitting on the outside now, but I don't know why he was that. He was obviously because he was he was the former Tory deputy chair. He obviously gets a bit of shine for no reason, guys, which is really annoying there. This from James O'Brien here. And he asks here that Kemi Badenoch has accused Suella Braverman of having a breakdown in America because she's still fighting the culture wars that for a long time Badenoch seemed to be a senior general with. So James O'Brien has one question: what's going on?
Kemi Badenoch has accused Suella Braverman of having some sort of breakdown in America because she's still fighting the culture wars that for quite a long time Kemi Badenoch seemed to be a senior general in. But something about that election result on Friday appears to have taken all of the wind out of the sails of so-called culture wars. 30p Lee, of course, didn't he say just before they made him deputy chairman that they were going to have to fight an entire general election campaign on culture wars and transgender toilets? I may have misrepresented him slightly. I can't.
Yeah, remember Lee Anderson was trying to stoke that, and it didn't become that. They tried to make it an immigration election. That didn't work either. many people were just saying, no, we're not buying. The vast majority were not buying into the. We're not buying into the vast majority. Were not buying into immigration. They weren't buying into the culture war crap. What they wanted was better living standards, better quality. They wanted the cost of living crisis dealt with. They wanted the economy sorted. They wanted businesses needed something sorted. People want homes. People wanted something different. People were fed up, and people wanted to make sure that, well, no matter what, the Conservatives were kicked out. So that all these things played a part in the general election, without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, culture war is not really something people were. I would say maybe some people was, but the vast majority were not on this general election, because there are obviously a few nutters out there who think that everything is because of they think that everything was because of culture wars.
I can't even remember what party he was in at the time. He must have still been in the Tory party, wasn't he? Because it was before he became Tory party chairman. So we talked about them a lot. I wonder if this is one of the great signifiers of the last 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years. You go back to Boris Johnson and shortly afterwards. We talked about a lot of things because we knew there was something wrong with them, but we were never entirely sure what they were. And I'm putting the culture wars on that list.
Yeah, I don't. That whole culture war stuff was just so frustrating, guys. Really, really frustrating. Dave McGuinness, thanks for the £5 super chat. I really appreciate it. Do Tory members think they are getting the say the last time MP selected their leader? Yeah, it's the membership, really. It's not the MPs, it's the membership at the end of the day. But they still have huge membership backing them. But thanks for that £5 super chat. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I think at the moment the odds are saying Kemi Bakkenot is the one likely to be the one that's likely to be backing. However, obviously the anger and backlash on Braverman will obviously hurt her. I don't think Suella Braverman is going to get that going to get that leadership role. Personally, I think if they were smart, they would go. Personally, if I think they were smart, they would have gone for Priti Patel. I don't know if she's still going to throw her hat in the ring. We don't know. Obviously, they haven't officially said the announcement of who's in it and who's not. So that's the only thing. But yeah, I mean, I think the most least crazy one is probably Priti Patel. But I know that they were in. I wouldn't be surprised if Kemi gets the nod there. But it could. There's lots of candidates which we talked about before already. Thanks for the super chat. Sorry for typing on my phone. No worries, David. Much appreciate it. I appreciate the support. I really, really do. Thank you. We knew exactly what they were. James O'Brien. Yeah, of course we did. But James O'Brien has kind of changed his tune has changed his tune on things quite a lot, which is why I haven't really been listening to him as much as I used to, because I'm starting to feel like he's being more Labourish than rather than being sitting on the fence sort of thing. I don't like that. Excuse me, guys. Well, honest Bobby going round Seagullis's house to put a nice mural on that wall for him, says Solari the cat. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. I have no idea about that one. Seagullis is no longer thieving chips and crapping on people's heads. No, he is not. The people of Stoke-on-Trent have been freed from the gullus that has been in their gutter. It always starts with "you don't understand." It does seem to be, yeah. There's a queue to gobble off Froggy and the Prittler on the frontal positions. Yeah, I know. I don't think Nigel Farage is going to get. I'm not buying into the whole Nigel Farage getting the nod. I don't buy into that. Nigel Farage swapping over now that he's an MP. I don't buy into it. At least not right now. I can see it maybe in like 6 months' time, maybe, but I don't see it happening straight away. But it's entirely possible as well. So obviously the other thing as well here, which is quite funny. She spoke very powerfully of the importance of not leaking info to the media from meetings. I know what you're thinking. How do you know that it was leaked by somebody trying to make her look good? James O'Brien breaks down Kemi Baggenot's leaked conversation. For those who don't know, well, I'll let James explain this because it's quite you can't help but laugh on this one.
So I don't know how much longer we will be looking in the rearview mirror, but I'm not stopping yet because it's so much fun. And today's example is some very powerful interventions from Kemi Badenoch at yesterday's Shadow Cabinet, where she was very rude about Suella Braverman. But I think something upon which we can all agree is that she spoke very powerfully of the importance of not leaking information to the media from Shadow Cabinet meetings.
Absolutely. It's absolutely disgraceful. So it must be kept behind closed doors. No conversations with Shadow Cabinet ministers must be leaked to the public. It's so, so important. Wait a minute.
I know what you're thinking. How do you know that, James? Well, the answer is that it was leaked to the media.
You gotta laugh. Oh, in the meeting telling everyone, do not leak information. And someone literally leaks information. You gotta laugh, guys. You just got shows how her strength is, really, unfortunately.
By someone trying to make Kemi Badenoch look good. So if you needed to distill the current state of the Tory party down to a single event, it would be somebody, I'm not saying it was her, but it would be somebody who was present at the Shadow Cabinet meeting and really wants Kemi Badenoch to look good, leaking to the Times that Kemi Badenoch has called for an end to all leaking, and lots of other stuff designed to make her look good, including wondering out loud whether Suella Braverman is currently having some sort of breakdown in America.
Oh dear. So it's just really, really embarrassing, guys. It has to be said. Definitely embarrassing for sure, guys. Just before we go on, we're gonna read into look at some clips, obviously from the House of Commons. I think that's really, really important because I've covered, talked a little bit about it, but not really highlighted it in a few clips. But I just want to say thanks for guys who are here. Make sure you hit the like button, be greatly appreciated. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video, and subscribe because it really does help support the channel. Let's have a quick gander, see what you guys are saying in the chat. Larry, I've got a few tickets spare, says Billy Kershaw. What have you got tickets for? Let them wander like they got away with it till the police knock on their door, says Billy. I think La Vermont and Redestroy won't do nothing in Parliament because they have no plan. Frogmodge in the EU Parliament was not even a clown. He was a nuisance that someone spoke. Well, straight away, his very first speech, he gave that away, didn't he? Pot calling kettle black there. Good smash, as Jow. 14 years to Ella. 14 years to Ella. Total power, complete power to do all that you want. 14 years. Repeat it. Yeah, this is the thing. Like it's gonna, Labour can simply keep bashing them on the head here. Simon says 55. I didn't say hello to you earlier. Good evening. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, just keep bashing them on the head. Just keep bashing them on the head. Nodding his head and agreeing with her. How ridiculous can you be? Is this the lady who said LGBT flags was a monstrous thing, says David. Yeah, good to see you, David. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, this was the vile... I went on a bit of a rant. I did a bit of a rant video on it as well. Oh no, the homophobic monkey lady, says Dave. Oh, you can... Yeah. Yeah. So, guys, obviously, it was interesting to see for the first time, obviously... was it yesterday? No, it was yesterday. It was interesting to see, obviously, the first time, obviously, seeing some of the fresh new faces in MPs, and unfortunately some of the same old familiar faces as well. Jeremy Corbyn. Now, I don't know if you guys. I'm going to turn the volume up to the max, so I don't know if you're going to hear this or not. But Jeremy Corbyn was caught on the microphone whispering as they're all being sworn in as MPs. He was caught on the microphone whispering, "This is such a load of nonsense, isn't it?" So let's see if you can. I can slightly hear something along those lines, but I don't know if he exactly said those words. But anyway, let's just play it.
Bible? No, it's just the Old and the New Testament, isn't it? Bible? No, it's just the Old and the New Testament, isn't it?
Yeah, you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it quite faintly where he's saying that. Yeah, it's been viewed by 4.6 million times. And yeah, I know, I get what you're saying, guys. It is a bit of an... I know it is. It is a load of nonsense. It is a load of nonsense, this house. don't get caught saying it publicly, Jeremy. Like, come on. just don't literally, like, okay, at least he's an independent now, so he can kind of get away with it because he's not an affiliate with any party. But you know, it's just yeah, there's not helping anyone those comments anyway. So this obviously a report here from Sky News, obviously very interesting stuff here. Obviously, if you didn't already hear it,
a parliament packed to the rafters, a moment they've waited 14 years for.
And by the way, so just to kind of gauge just how crazy this house now is, guys. Pretty much everyone on the left, obviously, is all the government, it's all the Labour MPs, but also the pact here down on the bottom left and in front there are all Labour MPs. They are all Labour MPs. There's like 400 of them. And then obviously on the other side you have the Conservatives, and then the Liberal Democrats at the front, and then the SNP behind, Reform hiding away in the corner along with the Greens and any other independent candidates as well.
As Rishi Sunak slipped in and took his new seat in opposition, it was barely even noticed. While MPs waited for proceedings to begin, a quick moment for pleasantries between the new and old guard.
It was interesting. It's interesting that Rishi Sunak has really had a bit of a changing tune, obviously, now that he's in opposition, which is very interesting to say the least.
And then the pomp and pageantry of a new parliament.
To declare the opening of Parliament, desire the presence of this honourable House.
First, the reselection of the Speaker. Lindsay Hoyle dictated by tradition to be dragged reluctantly to a seat he relishes.
I now call the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer.
Beforehand, guys, you remember that Lindsay Hoyle, as much as he does not deserve to be Speaker, he really does not. I am in this whatsoever because of the way he handled the whole Gaza situation. Was absolutely the Gaza vote was absolutely disgusting and outrageous as far as I'm concerned. And they picked him. I don't know why they picked him. I imagine he was offered some kind of consensus or something from the Labour government, from the Labour Party, to why he was kept on. But he accidentally, at times, at Prime Minister's questions, kept calling him Prime Minister to Keir Starmer. Yeah, Hoyle is useless. Yeah, I don't agree whatsoever that he's fit for that chair anymore. Someone said Chris Bright would have been a better Speaker. I think he would have been a better Speaker. I think he would have been a lot better because he's very good when it comes to the committees. I'm not sure how he would be as a Speaker, but I think he would. I would definitely be in favour of someone new, fresh on that chair rather than him.
May I too welcome each and every one of the new members who is here for the first time, starting their great responsibility.
From the victor to the vanquished.
I now call the Leader of the Opposition, Rishi Sunak.
Can I start by congratulating the Prime Minister on his election victory? And as he takes on his formidable task, he and his family deserve the good wishes of all of us in this House. Yeah. Let me begin with a message to those who are no longer sitting behind me. I am sorry.
Wow, that's a first.
This new parliament is the most diverse by race and gender in history. It has a record number of new MPs, 335, and one who has been trying to get in here for 30 years.
Nigel Farage.
You.
Barely anybody was like, everyone was like, oh God, this man.
Mr. Speaker-elect, thank you very much indeed. We are the new kids on the block. We have no experience in this parliament whatsoever, even though some of us have tried many times over the years previously to get here.
From the formalities to the formation of policy. And today, another symbol of Conservative rule banished to history. The words levelling up.
Yep, we don't need... Yep, they've changed the tune on that, Labour. They're not going to be using that whole levelling up thing. I guess, I mean, it's a good slogan, but the thing is that they don't want to... they're trying to be very careful here. Flynn said to let bygones be bygones. Yeah, Stephen Flynn, I think, was swallowing his tongue with that one, if I'm absolutely honest. because he did. I personally don't think he and the SNP wanted Hoyle, but just kept quiet about it because at the end of the day, there's nothing really they weren't going to be able to change the speaker in any way, shape, or form. So it's better to try and bury the hatchet for them. But yeah, he was very careful with his words. The speaker should be from a minor party. That would be a good idea as well, actually. But I don't think Jeremy Corbyn would be something that everybody would agree to.
In the end, Levelling Up was a slogan. It was on the signs of government buildings, but it wasn't felt in communities across the country. And what we're committed to do, and you'll see the Metro mayors are in Downing Street around the table today working in partnership, is to make sure that our agenda for government is felt in every community right across the country. One thing that they have been doing, all the mayors and that have had meetings with the Prime Minister. John Sweeney, obviously of the SNP's First Minister, had a meeting. He's been over in Northern Ireland, over in Wales, meeting all the devolved leaders, shall we say, in the nations as well, and that's really, really important. Yeah, I know many people. I know it's big, but it's so much better than what the Conservatives have been doing. Like, they've not even had like chats or discussions, like probably on the phone. But there's Keir Starmer actually making time to actually sit down and talk to them.
Those Metro mayors gathered on the steps of Downing Street before heading in for their first meeting with the new Prime Minister today, and only one of them a Conservative.
He must feel very, very lonely there.
Tees Valley Mayor Ben Houchin, though he was given a prime seat when inside.
I'm a great believer in devolution. I'm a great believer in the idea that those with skin in the game, those that know their
interesting. They put him right next to Angela Rayner there.
Communities make much better decisions than people sitting in Westminster and Whitehall.
Yeah, interesting. It was interesting to say the least there, guys. The chief sniffer looks like he was downdraw of Rishi's S&Ds. Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Oh, God. What's going on? Oh, God damn it. I've got a new mouse, by the way. I haven't put it in yet, but I've got a brand new mouse, which I really need to start using. So I just wanted to play this one here, obviously. So Lib Dem MP Al Pinkerton explains how Farage turned up late, didn't have a seat, and the whips told him to vacate his seat so that Farage could have somewhere to speak with a camera and a microphone. What?
I was very comfortable in a seat right at the back of the chamber when Nigel Farage turned up rather late to the occasion. We'd all been there for quite some time gathering, and I had to move. I had to give up my seat for Nigel Farage, who had obviously been enjoying the hospitality of the tea rooms in the House of Commons prior to coming along. So one point of note, sadly I had to give up my seat at the request of the whips, but he needed a microphone to be able to give his speech. It's been an incredible few days.
Yeah, and yeah. It was late. Spending too much time in the bar. Ooh. Yeah, going to be buying lots of drinks at our expenses, guys. At our expenses, taxpayer expenses as well. So I just wanted to play this little, I know some people have heard this clip already, but I really wanted to highlight this one here, because I think, Rishi Sunak, I know many of you have already heard this, but I want to hear it again because I just emphasizes just how different this guy is to when he was Prime Minister. It's quite mind-boggling.
Can I start by congratulating the Prime Minister on his election victory? And as he takes on his formidable task, he and his family deserve the good wishes of all of us in this House. Now, in our politics, we can argue vigorously, as the Prime Minister and I did over the past 6 weeks, but still respect each other. And whatever disputes we may have in this Parliament, I know that everyone in this House will not lose sight of the fact that we are all motivated by our desire to serve our constituents, our country, and advance the principles that we honourably believe in. Yeah. And to every member, new and old, let me welcome them to their places and congratulate them on their results. To be sent to this place by one's constituents is the greatest honour, privilege, and responsibility. I know every one of us will be trying to repay the trust placed in us, and I look forward to continuing to represent the interests of my own rural North Yorkshire constituents. Can I start by
Who is this guy? Who is this guy? I generally want to know, because I don't recognise this man. I really, really do not, guys. I really don't. recognise him at all. It's quite crazy to me that he can be like talk like that, talk like a normal person, talk like with conviction, compassion, and all that kind of stuff. But yet he couldn't do that in the role. It's just, I mean, I know people will argue, and rightfully or wrongly, that his hands were tied, he was hamstrung by the Conservatives, and now that he's no longer hamstrung, he can kind of be a bit more loose and whatnot. I can understand those arguments, I can. But still, it's just, it's very frustrating to say the least here. So moving swiftly on, shut up, Rishi. He's saying, "Thank you, I made a mint." Yeah, he did make a mint, that's for sure. He did, that's for sure. This one really triggered me. I actually responded in the Twitter. I don't normally respond to political tweets, but I did respond in this one here. This one really pissed me off here. This bloody Conservative.
Derailed by the
whole world was derailed by COVID, including the politics of the UK, and I recognise.
And the UK was derailed by the Tory party.
Well, I'm afraid you can't say that. The problem was because.
Excuse me. I'm going to address this. How dare you say that you can't say that when your party's been in power for 14 years? You cannot keep blaming, after 14 years of being in power, on everyone else's faults. You can't blame COVID on everything. You can't blame Ukraine on everything. You can't blame the European Union on everything. Yeah? You need to suck up and take your ownership responsibility. This piece of shit, Danny Kruger, to say that, to try and emphasize that all the other problems in the world were the reasons why the Conservatives couldn't do anything. Absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit to the T.
Because of COVID and because of the inflation shock, because of Ukraine, across the West, we've had political crises because of that, including in our major allies. So it is not a UK-specific problem. But
well, unfortunately, a lot of statistics, and a lot of people will vehemently disagree with you, and the British public also agree too. There's not a cost of living crisis in France, as far as I'm aware. There's not a cost of living crisis in Spain, as far as I'm aware. There's not a cost of living crisis in Germany to the extent that we're in, as far as I'm aware. Is there a cost of living crisis in Italy? Can someone let me know in the comments down below? Is there a cost of living crisis in Portugal, Joe? Is there a cost of living crisis down there taking place right now? Is there a cost of living crisis taking place where you are in your country? Let me know in the comments right now. In comparison to the UK, like he got no leg to stand on. He's got no leg to stand on, guys. No leg to stand on. Now, this is an interesting conversation here. So Richard Tice wants another referendum on PR, but not on Brexit, the rejoin EU. So Richard Tice says we should have proportional representation. Then cites Belarus for also not having PR, saying it's not great company. Yeah, this is quite an interesting one. So he's saying he's trying to justify us having a referendum on proportional representation, while also trying to justify that we shouldn't have another referendum on Brexit. Yeah. You try and put that square into that round hole, guys.
For 19. I mean,
yeah, and he's 100% correct on that. You could, as much as you don't like the man and don't agree with things that he says in his policies, 100% true that Labour got less votes. But the thing is, because of our first past the post system, people were able to tactically vote in more Labour MPs than they should have. But even though they did get a chunk of the vote share, it was nowhere near they should have the seats that they should have. He's absolutely right. Let's be clear, the Conservatives have... There's a lot of factors into people not voting. First of all, you have to factor in there how many people couldn't turn up because they couldn't have voter ID. So some people didn't bother going to vote because they didn't have the ID anyway. So they're already deterred from that. Some people obviously tried to vote and they couldn't with their ID. Some people tried to make second attempts with it and they didn't vote. There's the other issue is that because of the timing of this general election, which is a lot of people on holidays or planning holidays or booked holidays who are right now on their way on holidays, so they couldn't vote in person, so they did postal votes. And guess what? We weren't ready for it. Obviously, we clearly were not expect. I think it was about one statistic said it was about up to 20% of the population used postal votes. And as Dave McGuinness has pointed out on his channel, there has been a huge amount of postal votes not being included in what's happening in Scotland, because there was lots of issues that are going missing. But there were also people in England and in Wales where their postal votes were going missing. Now, was this going to make a massive difference in the complete and total outcome of the general election? No, but it could have made a difference. But if the amounts of seats that are rumoured, the amount of postal votes that are rumoured to have been misplaced in Scotland, could have added an additional maybe 1 or 2 more SNPs than there should have been. Now that's anti-democratic in any way, shape or form, the fact that it wasn't. Now, I believe there is going to be an investigation into this to find out what happened here and why this happened. But at the same time, we have to also remember is that the timing of this general election was just wrong. There were so many other things going on The timing of this general election was not ideal for anyone whatsoever. And I think that's a really important point.
It's better than...
Absolutely, the system is rigged, David.
Why is it?
Yeah, because you don't want to you want to suppress people's right to vote. Like, for example, where my constituency, Akisman, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Like, where I'm in my constituency is a Labour strong. It's a Labour stronghold. So I can keep voting Green, but that doesn't mean that the Green MP here, the Green candidate is going to get through, because Labour still have a stonky majority. Whereas if people had more of people should not need to tactically vote to kick out a certain party. They should not have to tactically vote. People should be able to go to the polls and vote consciously who they want to vote for. It should not have to be that way. What happens in government, what happens in Parliament, that's for them to sort out about working together, working in coalitions and whatnot. I understand this. I understand the argument where he's coming from, and I've had some people obviously try to, in some of the comments on my video, try to back down and basically say that proportional representation is not a good thing. No, proportional representation is a good thing. There's different proportional representations, but people's votes need to matter, and as of right now, people's votes don't matter unless you vote against your own wishes, because a lot of people have had to tactically vote for a party or a person that they back instead of voting for who they want to back, because of the system that we have. The system is unfair. And I think the Green Party and Reform are very fortunate that they've had a significant vote share put behind them, despite the fact that Labour got the stonking majority they did, and that still, despite everything about the Conservatives, they still got over 120 or so, 120 seats still, the Conservatives. And there were a lot of tight races where the Conservatives were still close to holding on a lot more as well. But if it wasn't for Reform as well. So, yeah, I just, like, this, yeah.
Terrible.
Now, let's be clear, yeah, that back then, what Lord Eric Pickles was talking about when there was this decision on whether to go for it, the general public didn't have enough of an understanding of it. There wasn't enough information out there. Not enough people were engaged in it. Not enough communication of it. If you ask the vast majority of people about it now, I think there would be a lot bigger engagement. There would be a lot more out there. And let's also remember, there's obviously a lot of politicians that will a lot within Labour, a lot within the Greens, a lot within Reform, Lib Dems. There's a lot of MPs, a lot of politicians who back the idea of proportional representation. Just Mr. Pickles here is living in the past. That's just a reality. I mean, he didn't mention there, obviously, about obviously they didn't mention there. Pickles obviously didn't mention the whole. Well, you know, you guys want another referendum on PR, but you don't want another referendum on talking about rejoining the European Union. You know, we'll have it on this one, but we won't have it on this one. Yeah, so it's a bit frustrating to say the least there, guys. Good to see you, Chatty Rat. Hope you're doing well. So, guys, we're going to take a little break here from all of this. I think we need a funny video to kind of break the ice a little bit here, guys. Just wanted to say, guys, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. Greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing, because it really does help support the channel. And if you guys want to financially support me in any way, shape, or form, you can do. It would be really, really appreciated. I don't make any money off my live streams. They're all demonetized. So that way I can kind of be a bit more freelance, not worry about any copyrights or anything like that for you guys. So any super chats or gifted memberships, any kind of that stuff is greatly appreciated. Or otherwise, if you want to financially support me, is by buying me a coffee or joining me on Patreon there for exclusive content on that platform as well. So thank you to everyone and anyone who's supported me in any way, shape, or form. Really appreciate it. Thanks again for Dave McGuinness for his super chats earlier. I really appreciate it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this funny video. Some of you guys may have already heard this already, but this is from Matt Green on the question of is the rise of the far right inevitable?
In the wake of Labour's landslide win in the UK and the surprise third place for National Rally in the French elections, people across Europe are asking, what now for the right? Our assumptions, projections and expectations correspondent Jonathan Goodenough has more. Yes, that's right, the rise of the far right, the hard right, the radical right and right said Fred has been predicted for many years now, but so far voters have failed to give them enough support. Did you just say failed? Yes, we've been expecting this for some time now, but so far we've been disappointed. Disappointed. Over the weekend in France, many National Rally candidates were blocked by a combination of the Popular Front and centrists. Blocked? But many are saying that the triumph of the hard right has only been delayed. Jonathan? Yes? Do you want the hard right to win? What? It's just the way you're reporting it. It almost sounds like you admire them. No, I'm strictly impartial, like all reporters. Just going to give everyone a chance to stop laughing at that? I'm only reporting the facts. I mean, look at the UK, where Reform, a brand new party, gained just over 4 million votes. Do they have anything to do with UKIP, who in 2015 gained just under 4 million votes? No, all of the UKIP candidates were definitely real. And Reform has only got 5 MPs. Yes, but it's a good start. For what? For Nigel Farage's inexorable takeover of the whole political establishment. Inexorable? That's certainly what it feels like. All across the world, the right is on the march. Unless people organise against it and don't vote for it. Sorry? It's only inexorable if people actually vote for them, and so far the results are pretty mixed on that. And like in France, where there was a genuine chance of the far right winning, other parties came together to oppose them, and the voters didn't give them a mandate. It could still happen though, but it doesn't have to. But it could, and wouldn't that be exciting? Jonathan? Yes? Are you okay? It's just, I miss the drama. Well, soon you'll have the Tory leadership race to cover. Yes, but it won't be the same, will it? I mean, sure, some people will say some mad things and we'll have a laugh, but they won't be running the country, so it won't really matter. I suppose. And this new lot just keep going on about service and respect and being the grown-ups and getting on with it, and it's just boring. Apparently today, Starmer dodged a question about reconnecting with Muslim voters. Did he? Brilliant. Maybe that will help the far right. Or the far left. Next up, as Democrats in America struggle over whether or not to back Joe Biden, we ask, does this make the re-election of Donald Trump inevitable? Oh God, I'm doing it now.
Matt Green, guys, of Matt Green Comedy. Check out his YouTube channel, of course. And he's got quite a few bookings coming up as well. So do check out that stuff, of course, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that little funny video there. Right. Gaza. I know how much you guys hate Gaza, but I also are really important to talk about it and remind ourselves about the failures that the previous government and what this government is going to do about it. Now, let's be one thing I do want to stress, obviously, is that while this Labour government has only just got in, we have to obviously give them a little bit of breathing space. Now, yes, of course, some of the comments and things that they've said obviously have not been, past comments have not helped in any way, shape or form. But the one thing that was put in the Labour manifesto is quite crucial, is that they do recognise Palestine as a state. That was in the Labour manifesto. So it's interesting to see if they will still keep to that. So this first one here, guys, this is from Max Chunya Mathers. This is an Australian politician here. And he says that he found that the death toll in Gaza as a result of Israel's genocidal invasion that could be 186,000. That's 7.9% of Gaza's population. The same proportion in Australia would be 2 million dead. So no, the Greens won't stop us demanding sanctions on Israel. Clearly, he's just venting his frustration, obviously, just like we hear from so many other politicians around the world on how they feel about this situation, you guys.
Israel kills Palestinian men, women and children, and then they look around the world and they don't receive a single sanction to stop. They are emboldened and they keep acting. I mean, This motion is a joke. It is a joke as part of a peace process. What peace process? Israel is carrying out a genocide. Israel is carrying out a genocide in Gaza. It's not a peace process. Why is it that 146 countries could find it within their hearts to recognise Palestine right now? Why is it that the Australian government refuses? And how is it that when a Labor senator, Senator Payman, who had the principles and the courage to cross the floor to vote with the Greens to immediately recognise Palestine, why is it that Senator Payman faced more sanctions than Labor has dished out against Israel? What do you all do? What does this Labor government do? They can recognise Israel, but they can't immediately recognise Palestine. You can't end Tuwain's arms trade. You can't cancel the Elbit Systems contract. You can't sanction Israel. And you should all be deeply, deeply ashamed.
We don't hear. There's probably more of these kind of speeches going on in certain parliaments that we don't hear enough of. But it was good to hear this. And it's just once again like I feel his anger, I feel his frustration, I really feel his pain, guys, because it's so infuriating that everything he says is so true. Like, now countries are kind of like saying, yeah, we recognise Palestine as a state. Oh, now you recognise Palestine as a state. Only now you recognise them as a state. Yeah, I feel, you know, I feel for him, you know. Now, I'm going to play this clip, and then I'm going to be playing a response to this from another video, from someone that's going to wind up a few people here. So this is obviously former Labour MP Fanon Devonaire, who lost her Bristol seat to the Greens, exclusively tells Katie Newman that her party lacked that as party lack of a strong narrative around Gaza during the election had consequences. Just remember that.
It's easy to craft a narrative that goes, your MP didn't vote for a ceasefire, if your own party hasn't said we voted twice for a ceasefire and publicly. And yeah, of course, it wasn't like we hid it, but we did not craft a narrative, in my view, or if we did, I didn't see it. And other colleagues suffered terribly, worse than me. And seeing billboards vandalised saying you enabled genocide, no, I really haven't.
So the party failed to protect you and other MPs. They put you at risk, really.
I think we're storing up trouble for those colleagues who did make it over the line, as well as those of us who didn't, who suffered because of it. It wasn't clear, and I think that I do feel that's a choice, and you know, we succeeded. So hey, you know, obviously good strategy, but I was collateral damage, and other.
I don't. Carla Denyer had a really, really great campaign, and I don't think yet. I don't know if Gaza was the thing that got her over the line to becoming a Green MP. It may have been the case. It may have not been the case, guys. It's possible, but like I just by her facial expressions and her reactions to some of this, especially on an issue of Gaza, it's quite infuriating to me, because it's like, yes, you've won, but you know, Labour's position has. Yes, Labour have started saying some of the right things now, but it doesn't change the fact that their position is only changing because of pressure from the world, the pressure from public. When they should have made their position very clear right at the start, and that was the problem.
Others will be too, or they're going to have to spend the entire Parliament in their constituencies, work in their constituencies, trying to rebuild trust. And if the party doesn't want to look to those issues of what did we actually say about Gaza? Keir was working as a future Prime Minister on getting back to the peace plan. I'm so proud of that, but where was that written? I was saying not on the doorstep.
Oh, so you're blaming Keir Starmer for are you blaming Keir Starmer here?
He didn't say it.
But we didn't hear it, so the party's got a problem there, I think.
Did the party put you and other MPs at risk by failing to enunciate that more clearly?
The people who put you at risk are the people who threaten you. The people who put you at risk are the people who chased down the street after some of my colleagues, who put pictures of me and genocidal liar or whatever it was. They threatened me. The people who stood outside Labour Party meetings and other events, they threatened democracy because they made it risky for my staff and my volunteers. I was always brave, but you know, it wasn't fair.
But the party failed to deal with them properly.
I think The lack of a strong narrative had consequences.
Yeah, I don't. She's saying this, okay, and she's saying that she was, yeah. Just remember what she said there about, you know, lots of people threatening her party, and all this kind of thing. Well, cueing Mr. Owen Jones here.
Hey, thank you. It's Owen. Just did a quick video about the election, so we're going around and. So just wondering, how's it going? How's the campaign going?
We're just about to go out canvassing.
Oh, I know, but we just want to ask a couple of questions, if that's all right. I was just wondering, on Gaza, it keeps coming up at the moment. Do you think arms sale embargo? Because at the moment it's easy to say that.
If you don't mind, you're actually interrupting.
Do you want to drop us an email? We'll set something up for a proper
chat.
chat. Well, no, it's just a bit of video. It's just very basic questions. Seems a bit fragile. I don't know. Just
we
what?
are running to a very, very tight schedule.
No, I know this would take 2 minutes though. Just 2 minutes. What do you?
If you want to drop us an email, we can set something up. I think.
But I just
we have got a session.
I know it's just
planned.
basic. There's an election on, a bit of scrutiny. Why do you think the Greens are doing so well? Why do you think? Are you worried about them?
Shall we?
You worried about the Greens?
Yeah. I think we'll do this.
Really don't want to talk. Do you not think it's a bit odd not to?
Yeah, I think just like we're happy to set something up.
Right,
probably,
but you
if
would probably
like if you drop us an email, we've got
Yeah, but I mean,
fix something in the diary. But
normally
I know I completely understand. But
right.
just coming out.
Do you want to
like
say how the
this.
campaign's going? Nothing you want to talk about it?
I think we'll set something up if that's all right, Owen.
Okay. Pleasure. Just in an election, journalist comes up to you, wants to talk about your election campaign. Might as well just answer a couple of questions. Seems what's she worried about? What's she scared of? Yeah, I just think basic scrutiny. It's an election, but obviously they had other ideas.
Now, did Orange Jones, guys? Did he threaten her? Did he antagonise her? Did he do anything out of order? Now, I know Orange Jones is a controversial figure, and I know there's some people in my chat and Discord have very strong feelings against Orange Jones, and I totally understand them. But in this clip here, guys, he did nothing wrong. He was simply, during the election campaign, wanting to ask Debonair some questions. Now, is what she said in that clip we just saw before, was it because of people like him asking the tough questions on Gaza? Is why she didn't want to talk to him. I wonder if that had been me with a microphone, just some random YouTuber that she wasn't aware of, would she have been acted differently? And it just feels like to me that she was running away from the questions there. That's just how it came across to me. I know Owen Jones is a controversial guy, but you can't deny the clip here of him going up, asking the questions. And this is the thing: a lot of YouTubers and journalists do what he does: go up to the MPs, have chat, have a quick 2-minute chat, ask 1 or 2 questions. Doesn't hurt, and they can put that out there on YouTube. People can watch it and react to it. Put it on social media. People can watch and react to it. And there you go. Bob's your uncle. There's a little bit more publicity, because some people pay attention sometimes more to online than what they read in their newspapers or getting a knock on the door. Just putting that out there, guys. Not saying I agree or disagree with Owen Jones and some of his political views, but I think that's really, really important to highlight there.
It's easy to
on that. So
after narrative that.
Okay, you can stop talking now. So more on Gaza. This fucker right here, and yeah, I am going to call him a fucker. Just read this man's body language as he's been asked very important questions about Gaza, guys. Just watch the man's facial reactions and expressions, how they talk about this. This once again sums up how the US feels about the innocent people dying in Gaza.
Anyway, are you aware of the Lancet group report? It's a medical magazine, British medical magazine, that estimated the deaths as a result of the war in Gaza to be 186,000. And of course, it's taken into account, the expert took into account
Phil, good to see you there, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
Indirect deaths that have
And Andrew Luke, if there's anyone else I missed who's just popping in now, hope you guys are all doing well.
happened thus far and may happen as a result of the war, including disease and other things and starvation.
So
Are you aware of that?
I have seen the report, and I will just say whatever the number of civilians that have actually died as a result of this conflict, we know that it's far too many. And far too many civilians have been needlessly killed as a result of this conflict. And that is why we are working so hard, including negotiations that are going on this week, to try to reach a ceasefire that would alleviate the suffering in Gaza, that would bring home the hostages that continue to be held, and ultimately put us on a path to hopefully ending the war.
So,
why has he got a? Now I want to make this clear. Like, it's entirely possible that it's very natural to him to have that smile, have a slight smile here and there from the way he's talking, but it just doesn't feel right at all to me. And maybe I'm reading too much into this, but that's the perception that's being laid here when I'm listening to him and his facial expressions here. This is what I do, but I tend not to video it. Maybe I should. It's up to you, David, if you want to do a video. Owen is persona non grata to Labour. I know, like I know how like especially my colleagues, I'd say colleagues, my people on Politics Social feel about him, but that's why I don't really talk too much about Owen Jones. But that there, when Debonair was obviously moaning about being threatened and whatnot and that kind of thing, and there's Owen Jones literally coming up asking questions, and literally they just ran away from Owen Jones. They literally ran away from questions. I'm just pointing out that video there. There's no him being hostile in any way, shape or form. And I know people are going to say bad. I know there's people who are going to tell me the kind of things that Owen Jones has said and has done, and that's fine. But I'm just pointing out, exactly what happened in that video. I didn't see any editing in that video. I didn't see anything that was, as far as I'm aware, out of order or cruel. But if somebody wants to show me otherwise, I'm more than happy to willing to see them on that.
are you concerned that the figures could be far more staggering than what we've seen published by, let's say, the Ministry of Health in Gaza? I mean, I remember early on, the Assistant Secretary of State, Parvali, told I guess one of the committees on Capitol Hill that the deaths may actually be more than what the ministry, the health ministry, has to say.
Sure. The death toll could very well be more. We know there are potentially people who are under rubble who have not been counted. But it goes to the point I was making. Whatever the number is, the reported number already is far too high. Reported number already is unacceptable. The number of civilian deaths. So of course something higher than that would just be further tragedy. But we long ago passed the stage where this has been a horrific human tragedy for some time. Go ahead with another question. Absolutely not. I'm not even going to entertain that. I'm not even going to entertain that. Saeed, go ahead with another question.
Thank you.
It's ridiculous.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's very, very clear to me. It's very, very clear to me. Let's pull it back a little bit here. Look, that's a smirk there. It's just looking at your. There you are again with another smirk. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there's nothing fucking funny about people dying in there. I don't give a shit what side of the spectrum you're on. There's nothing fucking funny about people dying in that conflict. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't. He's trying to measure his words. Yes, I know he's trying to measure his words, but you have to. He should know what he's talking about here. Matthew Miller should know exactly. He knows what he's talking about here, and he should know that people are watching and people are going to record his reactions. It's very stupid of him. Very stupid of him. I just wanted to share this headline as well, guys. This tweet here. So this was a headline 10 years ago when Israel killed nearly 2,000 Palestinians in Gaza, resulting in an outcry, and then that the Prime Minister Cameron suspended arms export licenses to support a ceasefire. Now, with 40,000 killed and a famine, we watch as the UK silently supports Netanyahu. This is a front page of The Guardian 10 years ago, guys. The world stands disgraced. Front page. You don't see that anymore. How things have changed. Look at the line on his mouth and his face. The entire slide of his face rises. Yeah, exactly, Jal. Phil, yes, they didn't want to be seen as too partisan, says Akismad. Didn't Labour Social change its name to Politics Social just before Labour's guaranteed that they win that they would campaign for? I don't know that. I'm not going. Listen, as far as I'm aware, apparently there was going to be. As far as I'm aware, what they said there was going to be some kind of legal issue apparently with having the name, which is why they changed it. I'm not gonna indulge into that, if I'm honest, Phil. This is from last month, guys. I just wanted to highlight mainly the start of this clip here. So once again, as a human being, how can anyone look at what's happening to us and say what Israel is doing is wrong? Israeli settlers go on a rampage and block and destroy Gaza aid trucks. We've seen these before, guys, but again, to emphasize, they are still trying to stop aid going into Gaza.
In the occupied West Bank, Israeli settlers attacked trucks loaded with food bound for Gaza. One calling it beautiful, saying instead of visiting graves, people had used Memorial Day to block aid to Hamas. The aid being thrown away.
Block aid to Hamas? You mean block aid to innocent Palestinians? To the innocent Palestinians?
Here, in ever greater need in Gaza, with hundreds of thousands on the move again, now from the north as well as from Rafah in the south. Many heading here to the overburdened coastal city of Deir al-Balah, the latest place to pass for sanctuary for those exhausted by this war.
Yeah, being forced to shift from one side to another. Jal says, what I'm trying to say is that Miller had some kind of nervous twitch then, possibly some kind of paralyzing the left side of his face. He got defensive when he did. That's entirely possible. It is entirely possible. He could have said, look, I'm trying. He could easily had said something about it before, said something about the sly smile, or say that he has a twitch or something there. He could have covered his ass, but he didn't. He only covered himself when someone pointed out he's smirking. He only covered out when he only covered him. He only took it back when he did it. But his facial reactions look involuntary. It just didn't. The impression it gives is that he's just thinking this is all completely unnecessary. All right, there's no. This is quite heartbreaking, guys. A 12-year-old Palestinian child recounts the heartbreak tragedy of being displaced, losing his two brothers and their homes during the Israeli genocidal war in Gaza. Now, you're not going to see tears, you're not going to see crying. He's someone who totally understands the world that he is in.
لحالي جاي أرفه عن حالي.
أنت جاي لحالك على البحر.
على البحر، لكن عيلتي نازحة.
Oh, sorry, let me sorry, I didn't realize the text was not there. There we go. Let me try that. Start that again, sorry.
لحالي جاي أرفه عن حالي.
أنت جاي لحالك على البحر.
على البحر، لكن عيلتي نازحة في خيمة. هيها على الشط. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل في إسرائيل وفي كل الدول الغربية وبس.
مخنوق أنت.
أكيد. عشان
طولت الحرب.
والله يا ريت نرجع على بيوتنا ونعمر كمان مرة. كانت دارنا عمارة 3 طوابق، لكن أول الحرب من أول شهرين الحرب انقصفت في صاروخ طن وشو اسمه وراحت ونزحنا في الخيام من أول الحرب في تل السلطان، بعدها تهجرنا هنا.
صعب النزول.
صحيح كتير صعب وصعب الفراق أكيد.
مين فرقت؟ مين استشهد عندكم؟
والله يا إخواني الاثنين مات. نتحسر على الدنيا اللي راحت يعني قبل سنة أو سنتين، نتحسر يعني.
كنت في نعمة.
والله وإحنا مش حاسين. والأسعار طارت، الحاجة بشيكل صارت 3 شيكل.
قديش عمرك؟
أنا عمري 12 سنة.
You notice in that video, right, that even everything that he's gone through, he's still going to try to be as positive as he can be against all the odds. This is the thing that struck me the most about this video. What struck me the most is that this 12-year-old boy understands what's going on, understands the lives that he's lost, but still, in this interview here, he's trying to put on a brave face, and I have to commend this incredibly young man. I really, really do, because a lot of people, anyone, like, if for me, I would absolutely break down. I would not be able to do what this young lad has done. But unfortunately, this is the reality that many young children are facing. It's really really heartbreaking. The colder the person, including the greatest rage inside. There is, without a doubt, I would not be surprised there's a great deal of rage in there as well. Getting threatened, we all know about it in a small country like Scotland. We all know each other. Scotland being so threatened by political opponents, nut jobs, is not unusual on social media. Yeah, well said, David. Well said. So you have from this, guys, to, in my opinion, some really disgusting comments from this man here. So Scott Adams says, I want all of them, children of Gaza, to be destroyed as quickly as possible. I don't care how you do it. You could commit a war crime for all I care. Do whatever you need to. Fucking kill them. Yeah, what you're about to hear is really shocking.
If you say to me, but Scott, what about all the children who are, being injured and killed and all that? To which I say, I really, really do care about children. Like, I have the same instinct you do, which is, for some reason, they seem more valuable. I guess because they have more years of life or something. But they do seem more valuable. Like, I have the same internal feeling about it, that children are special.
Why do I get the feeling, before we even get to the meat of this conversation, I feel like he's just saying this just for the sake of saying this, rather than actually meaning it.
Valuable. It's just built into us. However, under the very special condition that the parents have weaponized their children to kill me, I don't care what happens to those kids.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I can scream and swear and shout. Let me ask you something, Scott. Who do you think made these kids? Who turned these kids into the rage and anger that they have against Israelis? Who do you think is responsible for that? Why do you think that Palestinians and some of their kids who lost their mums, lost their dads, lost their brothers, lost their sisters, lost their cousins, lost their nephews, lost fucking everything, why do you think kids feel like the way they feel? I'm sorry, but if I was one of those kids that lost fucking everything, I would be feeling the exact same thing. And his solution is just to kill them. That's his solution. His solution is to kill them. I will happily send you the link on Discord, David McGuinness. I would happily send a link for you, my friend, if you want to do a rant of your own. Let's hear the rest of what this fucker has to say.
Because the damage is already done. If you turn them into murderers of people who look like me, I don't care if they get murdered.
That's because you have no humanity. The difference between me and you and people who are watching this and in the chat is because we have something called humanity, Scott. something which you clearly do not have. Yeah? Because a child's mind is like a sponge. Every child should be given the best possible opportunities, the best in life. Because these children are in the positions and in the mindsets that they are, does not mean that we cannot change their mindsets later on in life. That does not mean that forever in their lives that we can't change that. Yes, some of them are lost, but that doesn't mean we should literally allow all of them to die simply because of this mindset and perception that has been created by them. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to make this very, very clear. Many Palestinians have caused harm to Israel too. That is absolutely true. But, you know, whether it's tit for tat, if I said this about Israeli kids, if I said that about Israeli children, yeah, about how they feel and about how their mindsets are trained to think about how they feel about Palestinians, do you think that sits well with me? I wouldn't be going on a camera asking for the death of them. It's just absolutely infuriating. Gareth McDonald, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. I can show you little evidence of both Israeli and Palestinian kids being militarized by their peers in their respective societies. Google Ganja. Thank you so much for the £5 super chat, Gareth McDonald. It's not even... The thing is as well, Gareth, and you're absolutely right, it's not just even here. It's happening in Africa. There are certain countries in Africa where kids are militarized as well. We've seen kids holding AK-47s. Young kids trained to hold guns. Trained to be killers. We know that. Absolutely 100% agreement, Gareth. And I'm not taking away any way of the shape of fact. But I will never accept this mindset that Scott here has on wanting to kill children, on believing that there is no hope for them. I will never accept this at all. No matter how down the rabbit hole has gone. I will never accept this.
I don't care if they get blown up in a bomb at all. Not even a little bit. I think you could have extreme empathy for children of all types and still make a distinction for somebody who's been weaponized to kill you. No, I want them all to be destroyed as quickly as possible. I don't care how you do it.
Well, if it was the same for I really would like Scott to answer this question, yeah, because this is what his perception, right? If they have weaponized Israeli kids, would he say the same thing? If they were Israeli kids, would he say the same thing? I do wonder that. Lavish men in love of the children will prosper. Short sight of all our children are our future. Yes, 100%, David. 100%. The time of relative peace is definitely done. Because if the Israelis can get away with it, which they do, even though they are not supposed to, then anyone can, says Gareth. Yeah. You let one nation get away with it, you've opened the floodgates for others. Which is why there's so much world condemnation for what Israel are doing. Because you create this mindset of saying, well, if Israel can do it, why can't we do it? This is the problem.
You could commit a war crime for all I care. I mean, if they're coming to kill me, do whatever you need to do. Fucking kill them. I'm just saying it out loud, right? Now, you don't want to say those things out loud if you're Israel. But it's certainly how I would feel. If I were an Israeli citizen, I wouldn't give a shit about the Palestinian children at all. Not even a little bit. You know why?
Yeah, I know why. But if that was your children, if that was someone that you knew, I cannot believe this man is being so open about how okay he thinks it is that kids who have been weaponized to simply want them to die. To simply want them killed. It's absolutely insane, guys. It's absolutely insane. We've seen the propaganda videos, Jal. They have weaponized Israeli kids. We know that. And we all and remember, another thing too, guys, remember this. Many Ukrainian kids were taken by Russia. Many Ukrainian kids have been taken by Russia. Very, very few have returned to Ukraine. And many of them are still in Russia. Do you think, yeah, they're going to be the same kids when they come back? If they ever come back to mums and dads, if they're still there? Do you think they're going to always remain loyal to Ukraine if they ever come back? Who is to say that then that they're not going to be militarized or weaponized for the benefit of Russia? Those Ukrainian kids that have been taken away from that conflict too.
Why? Because those children have been taught to grow up and kill me. Right? So I'm just being honest. I think you can be a good person with full empathy for life and for children especially, and still say this is really a special case. This is not like anything else we've seen. It's not like World War II. It's not like Vietnam. It's not like anything.
No, there have been weaponization of kids before. And there have been weaponization of kids in places. But we should not, in your mindset, give up on kids. Because a child's mind can change. People can change. And especially at a young age, when children do not fully understand and comprehend the world. Good night, Dave McGinnis. Thanks for your super chats. I really appreciate your support.
Yeah, I'm not going to say this about the children who died in Vietnam. I have full empathy for that, for example, in Iraq. Yeah, but this is a whole different situation.
I think this man is absolutely insane. For him to say the things that he has said, it just boggles. It really, really does boggle my mind. It really, really does, guys. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'll put a link on the Discord if you want to put the link on Discord for you guys if you guys want to take it and react to it yourselves. But it's just insane, guys. It's just absolutely fucking insane. And sorry, no, I can't. Hundreds of thousands of Israelis are frankly devastated by what's going on in the ops, including the victims of October the 7th. For fuck's sake. Yeah. Let me thank you so much for that super chat, Gareth Donald. Let me address this. Let me address this head on. Because I really want to make this very, very clear. Yeah. This has been going on before October the 7th. This is not just about what's happened since October the 7th. This has been going on before then. The occupation of the West Bank, the continuous discrimination of Palestinian people by Israelis, and the reactions and attacks by Palestinians on Israelis. This has been going on for decades. Decades. This has been going on for decades. For such a long time. The hatred for each other is absolutely real. There is so much anger and hatred between the two sides. I am not taking that any way or shape or form. What I care about is the bloodshed stopping. The guns being put down and compromises coming. And I know how impossible it sounds, guys. I know it sounds impossible. But people didn't think, that the wars, what happened in the wars, there are many, many conflicts, guys, where people didn't think they would end. I refuse to accept that there cannot be a peaceful solution here. There can be a way, and if there is enough political will, it can be done. It really can. It is just a case of having of making it happen. Don't get me wrong. What Hamas have done and what Hamas continue to do, and some of the things that they've done, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking any kind of sympathy whatsoever for Hamas. And there are many Palestinians who are sympathetic and are undercover for the cause of Hamas as well. Again, not taking anything away from that. What they did on October the 7th, I've said it 1,000 times and I will keep saying it. What they did was absolutely fucking disgusting, and they all deserve to pay for their crimes. Absolutely. And they should release those hostages. Absolutely. But what happened on that day does not give Israel the right to justify what they are doing within that Gaza Strip right now. There is a way to do things, and that is not the way to do them. They're literally starving, killing off Palestinians. Some Palestinians, yeah, who are literally just trying to live. And they're not even getting to do that. The West Banks as well. We don't talk enough about the West Bank, what's happening in the West Bank as well. I saw a clip while I was doing this, guys today. More houses getting bulldozed down to make way for more Israeli settlements. And what's the world saying about that? Nothing. I'm not talking about it. Nobody's talking about it, because if it was anywhere else in the world, there'd be uproar. It'd be in the papers. People would be talking about it. But because it's Israel, we have a different view or opinion on it. So guys, we are coming up to 9:30, which is roughly around the time where I do a Discord after chat, guys. The link in the description is a link. There's a link in the description to join our Discord community for free. So if anyone wants to join, you are more than welcome to do so. I will be popping on the after chat there. So if you guys want to come and continue the conversation there, or talk about something else, you're more than welcome to do so. I just need to do one or two things before I join at the end of this live stream. I'm sorry I don't have another funny video for you guys to kind of end this on, because it would have made more sense. But Gareth, thank you again for another super chat. I really appreciate it. Pre-October polls have Hamas approvals in the toilets. Thanks for that super chat. Yeah, what Hamas have done has been disgusting. I just want the bloodshed to stop. That's my opinion, and I will never accept that kids cannot be saved. I will never accept the premise of what that man says. We'll never accept that. You know, he's completely in this. His mindset is basically, why waste your time? Just give up. You know, he's someone who wants to give up on people. I'm not of that perception. You know, I absolutely hate Boris Johnson to bits for what that man has done for our country. But I will never wish ill will or anything fatal to happen to him, because I'm above that. I'm better than him. Because I won't stoop to those levels. You know, even as much as I despise Vladimir Putin and what he's done to people to what he's done in the conflict, the things that he has said and caused, I will never wish death upon anyone, because again, I'm not going to stoop to his level, because that's not who I am. You know, sometimes I may say things out of context which I shouldn't have said, but I am not going to let go of my humanity. I won't do it, guys. I'm sorry. I know some of you guys would more than happily see the back of them, but that's not for me. That's not for me. But guys, what did you guys think of this? What did you guys think of this? Pingu says, "Where's my hat?" He keeps asking for the bloody hat. Ollie says, "Thank you, Gareth and David McGuinness, for all the super chats today." Yes, Ollie wanted to say thank you so much for them. Ollie does turn his frown upside down when people give super chats or memberships, because it supports the channel here. But yes, the gang is here. So guys, if you want to come and join me on Discord, you're more than welcome to do so. Giles put the link in the live chat for you guys. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's come along. I'm sorry I ended the live stream with a bit on a damp squid. I should have got a funny video, and I do apologise. Maybe I should have kept the back green video to the end of the live stream, but it is what it is, guys. But thank you guys all so much for all your comments. Thank you, Gareth, Dave McGuinness, for your super chats. I really, really appreciate it. It does help support me in the work that I do here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you're pre-watching this after the live stream, let me know what you guys think of some of the things we discussed in the comment section down below. And what I'll do is, if there's any in particular videos you guys want specifically for yourselves, please just ping me on the or send me a message on Discord, and I'll happily send a link for you as well. But I'll put that last one on Discord for everyone to take a look at as well. Just for reference, guys, just a reminder, tomorrow myself and One Angry Pagan will be here tomorrow at 8 o'clock, guys. We're going to be talking about politics. I'm sure we're going to be talking about Gaza as well, especially probably about that clip and maybe some more. We'll also be talking about Labour government. We'll talk about lots of things there. So feel free to come and hang out with myself and One Angry Pagan. And I may have another guest next week. I've still just wanted to as well coming up as well, so do feel free to keep your eye out for that one coming as well, guys. And I don't have any live streams planned on Friday or anything planned for the weekend, guys, but things may change possibly again. But yeah, thank you guys all for coming along, and take care as always. Look after yourselves. But just before you head out, guys, just have one final thing to say. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video, and subscribe because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you could do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.